Alright, we are into the ranked. Last week before Bloomberg comes out. And the minute I start talking, my neck goes weird. So, there's going to be some shakeups with Bloomberg. I'm going to try out some of the new cards, see where they land. But unfortunately, we have to start here with a super slow player. Now, honestly, I kept this in because I actually really like this game. My opponent was trying something janky and different, and I always love to show when people are messing around with something crazy. So I saw a Temple Garden, I'm like, okay, so the current Temple Garden leaning would be Selesnya Company. And also, I'd like to point out, this is double speed. So we are double speeded now in, it is nearly a minute for them to do this. And I'm just like, okay, Selesnya Company. And then I'm like, oh, Rafine's Informant. So this is Esker Charity. And I'm like, okay, this is the Abzan Greasefang, which has dropped off. A lot more people have gone into Esper. Esper's more one punch, one kill. But the Abzan one can grind for more advantage. So the reason I held back on the Helix here is I was very worried that we were just going to see a turn free Greasefang and then we'd be in trouble. So second Chariot goes down. I'm going to shock here because I want to hold up a Vanishing Verse. Primarily to just get anything reanimated. So we're just going to Vanishing Verse here because they clearly don't have... Well, they had Tron of Rafine's Informant. They're clearly looking for the Greasefang. So I'm going to get back the Lightning Helix here. And I'm getting back the Lightning Helix specifically because it kills Greasefang. And we can do that before the trigger resolves. We can just sit back with Toph here. We've got the ability to Earthbend some lands, gain some additional blockers. I'm okay letting a Thoughtseize resolve here. They're clearly struggling for black. So it depends on what their hand is. If they take Bring to Light, then they want to go longer. If they take Helix, they have Greasefang and they're trying to clear the way for it. However, because we have both the Scorn and the Helix, yeah, they make the right call. Taking the Bring to Light is definitely the right call. So I'm just going to start Earthbending some lands. There's our next land, which would have been great. I'm going to get in with Toph and hold up mana here. We still only have one red source, so we do need to hold up this Helix. Opponents checking our lands. My guess is they have an Assassin's Trophy. That's a common play by this deck, is do Assassin's Trophy, attempt to, deal with... Oh, there's a Thoughtseize. So in response, I am just going to Helix here and just Earthbend another land. Just gives us some more blockers. There's a Joshua, it's pretty good. So I'm going to play Joshua, Earthbend onto the land we already have. I'm going to get rid of the Molten and see what I can draw. It's only another land, so... I'm just going to swing in for 6 here with Toph and the land. And see what happens. Are they going to take out the... what are they going to do here? There's the Greasefang, as we were expecting. Activating... They only got the Chariot. They activate, swing in, copy their token. That's fine. So they have 3 blockers against our 4 creatures here. We could put a lot of pressure on them. So I actually think my option here is best is just flip Joshua. Hit him for free. And then we'll swing in. Because if they want to block everything, they have to use all of their... but one of their cats. Yeah, land comes back anyway. Play the land tapped. They're down to 3 here. Joshua can just... So I like the Joshua because he's also a flyer. And if we get blindsided by a Parhelion out of nowhere... Yeah, okay. So they've killed themselves here. And that's why I say oops. They return the Parhelion with Greasefang and go for the big attack here. And yeah, this is great for them. They have blockers. They forgot one thing though. Joshua's second chapter is 2 damage. They're going to die on the upkeep. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to say in is always be aware of what is on the battlefield. This was revealed information and you played right into it. Now I'm sure they were playing around the idea of I'm sure he'll block. But mathematically I was not dead, so I'm not doing it. Alright, so Sorcery Speed Removal comes out. We bring in our Ashoks for Graveyard Hate. You'll notice as we go in later on, we do make a change in this deck. We are now running copies of Pest Control to try and deal with the menace that is combination of self bounce and the Is It Cutter deck that is just tearing apart the competitive play right now. I don't know if it is 100. I think it is broken, but I feel like we're not pushing enough, you know. I feel the fact that it's just like the most best deck, so everyone's just going for it. Alright, opponent goes in for the Fortsies here. Takes the Vanishing Verse, which is an interesting choice. It does answer a Parhelion or an Eskin. There's an Overlord of the Belmerk. Okay. I'm going to play another land here. I need black mana for the Unmoored Ego and the Vanishing Verse that I've now drawn. So I'm just going to grab Yorion here. They go for a cash grab in the end step. There goes a Parhelion. So if they have the Greasefang here, we've just lost. You see me preparing to concede. They don't have it though, so it's pretty lucky for us, because we still can't draw a black mana. Second cash grab still doesn't find them a Greasefang. So as long as that one draw wasn't a Greasefang, there's a Chariot. Alright, I'm okay letting this go. Right. I'm going to just get rid of these tokens with the Deafening Clarion, I think. Yeah, we got to do it now. Destroy them so they can't. We're still just dead to a Greasefang draw because they'll just generate too much value here. There's a Traverse. That's going to grab him a Greasefang, get back the Parhelion. Yeah, we got punished for not drawing a black there. That wasn't necessarily a greedy keep. We had a good play on it. It's just, it's also, the thing you got to remember with Greasefang decks is if you take out the Greasefang, 9 times out of 10 they are just they are just basically Mardu vehicles from the old deck with a terrible curve. Because apart from, I believe, I don't actually think they run creatures apart from Greasefangs and the Rafine's Informant. And obviously the tokens they create. Ooh, dearie me. Yes, we are currently in the spoilers for Lorwyn, and there's a few little things I want to try. Yeah, that's a mulligan hand if I ever saw it. Alright, we're getting rid of the group, and we're going to go for the Kolaghan's Command, because Kolaghan's Command is another solid answer here. But they do find the duress here. Now, if they read the cards, K Command is definitely the right one to take. They didn't take it, so that means they must have another follow-up. Fortsies? They don't. Interesting. Belmerk gets back a Rafine's Informant. Alright, let's get an Ancient Cornucopia online. We are vulnerable here, but they did not mill the Parhelion. Right, Rafine's Informant draws. Discards a land. Right, they have lands again. Oh, Niv off the top. Well, you know what we got to do. We've actually got to bring to light, because they are a combo deck which could fall apart. So I'm going to use the bring to light here for the reload. Because I want a follow-up, and we hit 8 cards. That's one of the best Niv to lights I've ever seen. Alright, Biotech and Molten Collapse and the Cosmic Rebirth go here. Now, if they have solid removal here, they can't do everything that... So the big one they could have is Bitter Triumph, which would help them... No, they go for the Fortsies. And this hand is just insulated against so much stuff. Like, they can't stop us getting another Niv activation here. So they take the Vanishing Verse, play a Rafine's Informant, cycle a card, discarding another Witherbloom Command. Alright, I'm going to bring to light again here, and I think it's time that we go for the Unmoored Ego. We just got to strip this hand apart. So, you're now going to see my dyslexic hands again. There we go. Yeah, so apart from this one Shieldred, looking at their deck, they've got nothing, and the Belmerk, I forgot about the Overlord. Overlord could do it here, but at this point I'm like, I'm above in life, you've got Shieldred, I'm not too worried about it. There's no Greasefang now. Yep, you can draw a Chariot and maybe get some speed there, but I win this race. Alright, so with that in mind, we'll just swing in, hit him down to 6. Play the Wandering Mind, gain 2 life, and get another card off the top. A Lightning Helix, and they are dead to double Lightning Helix here. So yeah, we've pretty much got this on lock. Even if they fully swing in here, we gain 5 life from each Helix spell, so they just concede. Good game. Second match here, and we got a player, Dauntless Drafter, playing the craziest little brew that was really fun here. So this opening hand can cast, is missing green, but we can cast 3 of the cards in our hand, even if as long as we draw a land. And then I see main board Scribble Claws, so I'm like, interesting. Someone is mainboarding in Graveyard Hate, and I see Glock, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be some kind of crazy ramp deck, you know. So I've seen a few people play Golgari ramp, so I was thinking, okay, they're going to ramp into something crazy like an Ugin. So let's get this Cosmic Rebirth here. Let's make him think we have Graveyard synergies so that we can play around the Scribble Claws. Spelunking just leads more into the flavor that this is some kind of crazy ramp deck. They pillage the bog, so I'm like, oh man, they're going to find whatever they want here to just win. So I'm like, okay, well, first things first, we have to Vanishing Verse the thing, because I'm like, this could be Scapeshift or a deck like Lumra Loops, which is a really fun, really good deck. So I have to make sure their lands always come into play tapped. They Scapeshift, and I'm like, you know what, no more lies, let's make sure they can't cast that. They Glimpse the Core, getting another ramp spell, play my land, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, my best option here with a full reload option is, I think, and it's going to be controversial here, I don't know what they're up against, so I'm like, I 100% need to figure this out. So I'm thinking it could be Lumra. So this is my very dyslexic and very bad at spelling hand trying to figure out Lumra, or spell Lumra, Bella of the Wilds. And ultimately, I figure I can't do it in time, so I'm like, okay, let's just take the Scapeshifts we know about, and we'll check the deck. I look at their deck, and I see Scapeshifts, and I look, and I'm like, oh, this is basically a sneak attack deck. And I'm like, that's weird. What are they trying to sneak attack in? So they're going to force us to exile a card from our graveyard. Play a land, activate this Tyrant Scorn. So this is interesting. They are basically some kind of Jund sneak attack deck. And I'm sitting here going, huh, what is this? I get the Yorion to my hand, and they play it very smart here. So they know that we could blink the Wandering Mind here. So they're going to use the Revolt trigger from sacrificing the claws to get rid of our last card, and then Fatal Push in the end step our Wandering Mind. So this is a beautiful sequencing by them. They activate the Hive Tyrant. We're going to Vanishing Verse that. One thing you got to remember about these creature lands is they are the color when they're activated. Play a land tapped. Let's play Kavero the Mindbender and have him enter as a copy of the Wandering Mind, finding us another removal spell. They have another Spelunking. They've activated red, so I'm thinking they must have Perforus here. Or more removal. There's Perforus, so they could sneak attack in something now. So let's just swing in for 4 here. And we can play the Yorion and hold up the Tyrant Scorn. Tyrant Scorn might be very relevant if the opponent has some kind of crazy combo they try to cheat in here. Like there's Ronus, which will double the power of other creatures. They go to combat and I'm like, I can take 5. There's another land. Oh, there's Toph. Toph's a big one. We've been loving Toph recently. She has been such a powerhouse. We'll get back this Vanishing Verse, throw away this Cosmic Rebirth. Swing for 8 in the air. Now they've just got 1 draw that we've got to be wary of. And even if they are doing a 1 draw here, we can bounce a creature with Tyrant Scorn or Vanishing Verse to Perforus to stop them having haste. So we've covered all our bases and our opponent concedes. So I didn't fully check their lands here, but I'm like, so this is John Sneak Attack, basically, I think. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. For those who aren't aware, Perforos the Bronze-Blooded has an ability to sneak attack a creature into play. And you also saw they had the Razeborg, which is like another sneak attack. I keep this hand because I think I have time. Because I'm thinking about this and I'm like, okay, my opponent plays pretty slow here. What I mean by slow is they take a lot of time ramping and setting up. They take a Vanishing Verse, which has me scared because I'm like, okay, they probably have something they want to protect now. But I need to find green mana like yesterday. And I do, so let's go green mana into the Ancient Cornucopia here. They're going to sack Scribbleclaw to draw a card and get rid of our Vanishing Verse. There's the Spelunking. Double land into Glimpse the Core. So, I am going to Vanishing Verse, so the lands come into play tapped. Play the Biotech Specialist. We love our Biotech in this game. Echoing Deeps enters a copy of a creature in the graveyard. There's a Ronus. Let's play Joshua here. Do we want to... Yeah, we'll get rid of the 2 Lightning Helixes, because they just have big creatures. Pass it back. Alright, they attack in. We can take 5 here. We have life gain with the Ancient Cornucopia. Ooh, there's a deadly cover-up. Interesting. So we'll just use this opportunity here to set up, get some lands, make sure we have our colors covered. Ronus is going to go into the bottom there, and they're going to draw a card. Oh, we top deck a Niv, which is perfect. So let's get down.
Reload.
4 hits here. So if we had 1 more mana here, we could Ashiok, and that would be brutal. But we do have the No More Lies here. And our opponent just concedes because we had a good top deck. Good game, sir. Final match before the Lorwyn Shakeup. And we have got the classic Black Demons. So mulligan into Oblivion. Well, into Oblivion is a bit of an exaggeration. We got to take a mulligan here and hold up to the lands. At this point, I don't know what I'm up against, but then I see Eternal and Thoughtseize, which is pretty rough. Honestly, I think their best bet here is the Helix or the Cornucopia. Well, it depends what they are. Knowing what they are now, yeah, that's controversial choice there. There's a Gifted Aetherborn, so it's mono Black Demons. Let's just get the Ancient Cornucopia down and develop our board. There's a Liliana of the Veil, plussing, so we're going to have to get rid of the land here. And of course we top deck a Niv, which is very funny. Let's take the Vanishing Verse because that deals with the Liliana. They plus up, so we'll discard this Helix. There's the Annex, and they activate the Mutavault so they don't take damage. Drawing a card. We draw another Niv because, you know, they love being funny here. I'm actually going to pass here because I think to myself, I'll wait till they down tick or up tick the Lily. So I'm going to get rid of the Niv here because I have to. Then we go past combat here. They activate and they activate the Ritual Chamber. I should have done this in combat. This is a complete misplay on my part. But we do get a land here, which gives us the reload for Niv.
Reload.
We find 3 cards, which is pretty solid. We're not going to swing or attack here. We have the advantage of being able to gain life with the Cornucopia. So I'm going to let this go. See what they go for here. They down tick. We sack the Wandering Mind. They have an Unstoppable Slasher. So, with the Vanishing Verse, we'll take out that Slasher, so we don't have to deal with halving life totals. Go to Niv, swing, take out Lily. Then, neat trick here, Kavero the Mind-Bitten Superior Spider-Man will enter as Superior Spider-Man Niv Mizzet, which is not the same, so we can keep 2 of them.
Reload.
I felt, well, that wasn't a real reload, but we get our girl Toph again. She has very much impressed me as probably the best card from Avatar for Niv decks. They activate, drawing a card, and concede. Interesting. We are pretty spec'd against mono black here. This is probably a build of the deck I was playing predominantly against mono black decks, so we can just run it back without interference. This is also the start of the ranked season because I recorded this early in January, so that's why we're getting random opponents. I'm going to keep this, and we get turn 1 to rest, and they actually whiff, which is crazy, so we play this. There's a Gifted Aetherborn. Going to play a land tapped, then we can go into Wandering Mind. They both uptick. This is the downside of Liliana. So let's play the Sunfire Verge, Wandering Mind, grab a Helix. So they down tick, so they clearly have 2 cards they want to protect. Alright, they're down to very little left, so it's Helix Lily, so she's gone. Play a tap land. They activate the Castle Locthwain to draw. They do have 5 mana here, so we could be in trouble. So I think our best bet here is to go for the reload. And then even if we get destroyed and blown out... Oh, and our opponent just concedes, so... interesting.